Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Out of Nowhere. Well, my special guest today is Debbie Munro. Debbie is an experience in various of things from the early age, from growing up in the haunted house. On the show today, she'll be talking about Men in Black. She'll be talking about various haunted places, UFOs, you name it. We're going to talk about it on the show today. Hello there, Debbie. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Debbie, can you take us right back to your childhood and describe the house you grew up in?
I hated it. Absolutely hated that house. It was a bog standard house, 3 bedroom. I've got 3 sisters. So, there were two of us in each bedroom and my parents in the other one. Bog standard house. I hated it. My sisters hated it.
Oh,
It was a house that you would run upstairs, grab whatever you wanted, and run straight back down because you knew somebody was up there watching you. If we were forced to go upstairs and do something, when it got dark and it was just like, okay, you need to go and get ready for bed,
yeah.
you would put every single light on possible and do everything as fast as you possibly could, and then run straight back downstairs again. You would get doors opening and closing, the smell of tobacco going everywhere. But there was something else in that house that was very, very dark, and it wasn't a ghost or a spirit. It was
No.
something worse, I think, something from somewhere else in that. And then I also used to see lights in the sky there, and also there are a couple of absolutely horrible memories of if I do you know who I mean by Lucy Mabel Atwell?
Oh, yes, I do,
She,
yeah.
yep, yep. So we got this fairy book of hers, and they have these little goblins in with little feelers, and I hated that book because the little 3.5, 4 foot goblin would come into my bedroom at night.
Oh, my God.
And yeah, and I have a memory of it doing a pair of like its hands coming round the door frame and just looking at me, and also crossing the bedroom. And as girls, we were always sort of like playing around and altering our bedrooms and like moving the beds and everything. And I remember it with the bunk beds actually as bunk beds, and my youngest sister remembers it coming into the room and coming across the room to my bed when we'd actually separated the bunk beds and put them both sides of the room.
Right.
So two different occasions, same creature. It was, as far as I was concerned, I would just shut my eyes and hope, and I don't remember anything else. But it's all confused with lights in the sky. And so we lived under the flight path of Stansted Airport. So you would get used to the lights going, you'd see the lights going across the bedroom ceiling, and
Yeah.
then you could look out of the bedroom and you would see them sort of go down the curtain of the landing, like window. And I have one very vivid memory of these lights going across and down and then moving to the side and then appearing outside the curtains of the bedroom. And they were this size,
Oh, my God.
orange.
Yeah.
And that's all right. I've obviously blanked everything else out about that, but that's all right. And I didn't like the big owl in the tree. That was the other thing.
Did you tell your family then? How did your family react when you told them what you experienced?
So basically, we kept it to ourselves. We was only talking about it as adults because it wasn't, your parents are out at work or your parents were busy and they weren't interested.
Did the environment change the way you viewed the world? or unusual experiences?
It. I would say my whole life has been a period, have been periods of like paradigm shifts or changes in your outlook, because you would go, well, I've seen that. I can poke that, or I've had something I can't see brush my hair, or hold my hand, or sing in my ear, or seen lights in the sky, or I've seen something going in and out of the sea, or like we were just discussing beforehand, I've watched a black panther hunting for half an hour, 40 minutes. So every single time your brain goes, oh, it's not that, it's not that, it's
Yeah.
not that. Oh, okay. And your outlook changes.
You talk about them lights. Um, how did you react when you saw myself? Did you get any messages from them or anything, or could you?
The ones from childhood, I can't remember. The ones that I saw going in and out of the sea was a couple of years ago, um, maybe 3 years ago. I'd have to look up. I keep extensive notes, so these are all my notes from 20 since 2021. Um, So we were in North Norfolk. You could see the sea. I was woken up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, past 2, 3 o'clock, and a voice in my head said, "You must go to the window." So I went to the window and looked out, and I could see lights, and they were doing this. There were two lights doing this,
Yeah,
and there was a row of lights above. And I automatically thought it was a ship that was in trouble. And do I phone 999? What do I do? I need to, is that why I've been woken up? Because so there's somebody in trouble. And when I thought that, this voice in my head calmed me completely and said, no, it is not that. Just observe. And then it was almost like my brain was shunted off to one corner, up at the top corner, and you just watch. And I watched these two lights dance in and out of the waves, go into the sea, back out, around one another. They changed colour from red to orange to green, and this went on, and there was this stationary row of red lights above them. I thought the stationary row of red lights were the wind turbines offshore.
oh yeah,
Okay, so that's what I thought those were. And this carried on for, I don't know, half an hour, 20 minutes. And it was absolute joy. That's the feeling I got from them, that they were enjoying what they were doing, dancing in and out and up and down and going around. And then the voice in my head said, "You have seen what was required. You can go back to sleep. Not go back to bed, go back to sleep." And I turned, went and got back into bed and fell straight to sleep. When I looked the next day, you can't see the wind turbines from that window.
right.
So
Let's
there
have a
was a
look.
row of stationary red lights and then dancing in and out.
Right. So strange, isn't it?
It is, and it's strange that they know where you are. So on another time, we just so I go all over the country for work, and we come back and just decided, you know what, we'll take off for a couple of days. So we got an Airbnb again in Norfolk, went
Yeah.
there, arrived. This was October, so it was dark by the time we arrived. I We were unpacking, and I said, I'll get the last things from the car. So, really, spur of the moment, I walked out of the front door, opened up the boot, and a light clicked on in the sky above me. And it was up in the stars, and it travelled enough for me to see it was moving in a straight line and then clicked off like a light. How did it know I was there? How?
Exactly. Do you think, I've spoke to Paul about this as well. Do you think some of us are chosen to see things unusual where other people can't see it?
Yes, yes. I think a little bit is physical. So a bit like seeing those magic eye pictures or having perfect pitch. So there's a little bit of physical, whether you can see something or not. I think it's having an open mind, allows you to see a possibility. So you could show the same thing to half a dozen people, and only one person would pick some one thing out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
somebody else will see it and tell you something entirely different. What they
yes,
think it is.
exactly. Yeah. And I also think there is something in control of all this that decides who sees it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree with you there. It's, it's, sometimes it's when you see things, you think, why am I seeing that and nobody else can see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
Absolutely.
go, can't
But
you
then
see it? Can't you see it? Where? Right in front of you.
I know. But then also some people, I've also seen this forgetting like a glamour. I've
Yeah.
seen it. I've seen it with almost like you would call a fey experience where the person had exact. This was my husband. He had exactly the same experience as me. It was scary. We got back in the car, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm really glad we're back in the car now." And I was like, "Yeah, what do you think that was?" And he said, "What? What do I think? What was?" You could see him almost. It almost. You need to forget this. And
Yes.
then almost as well a few months ago, maybe April, May. I'd have to look it up. I was woken up in the middle of the night, and I could sense there were things around the bed, and it was you are being taken to somewhere. And I've had this happen before where I've kicked out and said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I've woken up when things are, I could hear a voice in my head going, she's ready to go up. What the hell does that mean? No, I don't think so. So this time this happened, and I don't know where I went, what I did. But when I woke up the next day and I looked out the window, so our bedroom looks over the back of the garden, and we've got an apple tree and a quince tree and everything, and
Yeah.
they had damage. The quince tree had a diagonal slice through the top
Oh,
layer
my.
of leaves,
Yeah.
and the apple tree had one section that was burnt. And I was like, something happened. Oh my God, I've got to take a photo. And it took me 3 days to take a photo because every time I got my camera or my phone to take a photo, there was this almost like a blanket that came over me and said, no, it's not important. You don't need to do that. Just ignore that. That's not important anymore.
Right.
And it was physically fighting this feeling to take a photo. I'll send you the photo of the tree. There's a diagonal cut through the quince, and it's had 3 days growth, so it wasn't. It was absolutely like knife sharp. This
Yeah.
cut.
That is so strange, is that,
Honestly, yeah.
I know you've spoken about an encounters involving what described as creatures. What can you remember about them experiences?
Okay, I've called them creatures because they take a lot of forms. So we have a thing that I call not only at home but also where I work, that I call True Night. So it is one of those where it's like a blanket, where you can almost feel the dark. It is that black and that thick, and that's when you know something is out there and you don't want to know.
Yeah.
when we've had those experiences, although that episode's a true night, I've had owls right outside the glass, but you open the window and you can't see them. I've had crows right outside the glass, exactly the same in pitch black, but you can't see them, but you can hear them, they're just there. I've had um, figures looking in the windows, and all you could see is these big eyes and a sort of like the shape of a head,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's all these big glowing eyes. I've had Man in Black, obviously. I've had
Did it make any
oh,
sound?
no, no, apart from the birds, and no, it's just. In fact, no, no, no. There is a sound. There is a sound which is even worse. The
Oh
clicky sound.
yeah.
Yeah. If you've ever watched the film Predator,
Oh
it's that
yes.
sound. It's that
Oh.
sound. I get that occasionally here and occasionally at work. And at
What
that point, when you,
when you get things like that, what is your immediate reaction to it all?
my
What
immediate
happens?
reaction is to, if I'm at home, is to close the curtains and ignore it, and I'm not going out. And definitely the crows outside was an attempt to get me to go out because just before the crows, there was a sound like, the old metal dustbins.
Oh
We
yeah.
don't have them anymore because we've got wheelie bins. We don't have them anymore. It was a sound like somebody was banging old metal dustbins.
Oh my
And
god.
then there was the sound of the crows just outside the glass. And I thought, I'm not going out. No, sorry, I'm not going out. I've had the clicky sound at work when I've just been closing up and I've been the last person there at night. And it is a very fast walk to the car, get in, on the top. But then also, when you do that, your headlights don't penetrate the dark.
No.
So they'll go 2 or 3 feet, and it's like a wall of darkness. And I'm supposed to lock the gate at that point because I'm the last person on. And I'm just like, no, don't
So
want the gate fine.
did you tell anybody about your encounter after all that?
What, at work?
Well, your friends or anybody, or do you tell
Oh yeah,
everybody?
we talk about it as a family. Yeah, because my husband's had quite a lot of experiences. I've got 2 daughters, and yeah, they have as well. Um, it's not the sort of thing you can bring up in a general conversation.
No, it's not really. When you're out and
No,
about.
no. There are, I mean, there's sometimes you can bring things up. So I trained as a nurse, and every single hospital has a ghost story. So, and every single, healthcare worker is used to knowing there's something else. So you can have conversations a little bit like that. But otherwise, no, people generally aren't interested.
No, no, no. Somebody, if they're listening to you, like I went for a coffee with a friend of mine today, and
Hmm.
he's an ex-copper. He was, he was in the Met for 35 years. Lives in Briglington now. Like,
Hmm.
that's what you been doing then. Oh, I said I went to James Dayton weekend. Oh God, no. Did you see anything? Or did you? And you can hear people listening
Yeah,
in cafe. And I said, look, Mum, I'll tell you in a bit. God. I don't, because there's been sightings down there recently of werewolf, Black Panther again, strange happenings down there, and people walk the dogs down there.
yeah, yeah,
And you don't want people listening to you and going, "Oh God, I'm not going there," or they'll tell somebody, and somebody gets there, and then everybody knows about it.
yeah,
And then the problem is, if you ever want to go there, like on a Saturday night for a few hours, think, oh, it'd be nice and quiet. You get loads of people coming down then.
Yeah, because they want to see some.
And
It's
it
either.
the spoil it. People jump on bandwagon wanting to
Mhm.
they want to see someone straight away, and it doesn't happen like that.
No, it doesn't. If you're meant to see it, I think sometimes you see it, and if you're not going to see it at all,
Yeah.
or it will play a trick.
Oh God, yeah, 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 exactly. I know we briefly talked a bit about the man in black.
Mhm.
You had an experience involving what you describe as the man in black. What happened really? Tell us the story about all
Right,
these
so
sightings of the man
there
in
were
black.
lots and lots of things going on, and I think it was triggered by seeing a portal open, and we had something in the house for about 3 months following that portal opening and it coming back, and I chased it out, and then there seemed to be lots and lots of activity. There were big flashes of like the same colour as my shirt that I'm wearing, so this ice blue huge oval you would see flash open, and then there would be a load of activity, a load of lights, or you would have thumping and banging on the walls. You would see faces outside. Um, and so we'd obviously bought something back from this, whatever it was.
Hitchhiker effect.
And hmm hmm and it had a lovely time here in this house, and I looked up what to do about getting rid of something, and it was to chase it out with pots and pans and tell it to go. So I'd gone from one end of the house doing this, get out, and this thing came running down the stairs, and I had the front door open, which is at the foot of the stairs, and then out. We've got carpeted stairs. You could hear big claws coming down the
Oh
stairs.
God.
And we've got a wall round the front garden, and it sat on the wall for about 20 minutes, half an hour. But all you could see was static shape, and it looked like a really big dog shape. So like like a Newfoundland or something like that.
Oh
Like
yeah.
a
As big as
big
that.
dog breed. Yeah, big dog breed. And it sat on the wall, this shape, all staticky, and you could almost see it like go, oh, oh, I've been chased out. Oh, and that started it. And we had lots of activity, faces looking in the window, like I say. And then we were just sat chatting over Sunday breakfast. And I had something said, look up and look out. And I looked up and looked across, and you can see my neighbour's driveway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there's like a little picket fence. And I could see this man standing from his waist upwards. So the picket fence was at his waist. He had a black or really, really dark grey, but I think it was black suit jacket, had thin lapels. He had a white shirt, thin black tie. He had hair which was black and it was slicked. It was brushed straight back
Right.
from his forehead. He was clean shaven. He had quite prominent cheekbones that came down to quite a pointed chin, and his skin was like really grey, pearly, like not a weird colour. And we made eye contact, and I laughed purely because I thought, ha ha ha, my neighbour's getting a visit from the Jehovah's Witness, and we haven't.
God.
That's literally what I thought.
Yes.
That's really what I thought. That's what I thought. I thought, haha, they haven't found our front door. And so I was laughing, and there was just it was absolute feeling of malevolence, sort of like you're a bug. You're not worth anything. And we were looking at one another as I'm laughing, and then I looked down at, like my cup of tea or whatever,
Oh
looked up,
yeah.
and he was gone. He was gone. That's it. And then over the next few months, I kept seeing him in the garden. So he would just stand and look at the house. I could see him across the road standing and look at the house. Um, I went to put the chickens away late one night, and so I ran up there, and they're at the top of the garden, and I ran up the path in the semi-dark and thought, I have just walked past someone standing just off the path in a black suit. So closed the pop hole and thought, okay, I've got to get back to the house. Did not look at them, but looked down and to the side, and I could see a pair of black, shiny, lace up shoes and a pair of black trousers just off the edge of the path.
Strange is that.
Really strange. So they just observed. Like I was saying to you, they've been in the bedroom a couple of times. They've woken up a couple of times and they're stood in the
How
bedroom.
close were you to him then?
Well, on the path.
Yeah.
So he was he was about here, where my hand is,
Right.
and but just stood staring. And so they stand and they stare. And so I asked somebody about it. I asked somebody who said they could tune into all this. So I asked them, what is this thing? And they said, oh yeah, yeah, it's yeah, doesn't come from here. I was like, yeah, I could tell you that. Just being in my bedroom, so I could tell you that. It's like, doesn't come from here. Um, they're not happy you exist. Oh, okay. Well, also, I'm not going to do anything about that. But they can't do anything about you existing. Fine. That's as far as I know. That's as far as I've got.
And it's strange, isn't it?
Really
Did you?
weird.
Yeah, I think you said you'd seen its face.
Yeah.
Because when I had an encounter with Men in Black, his face looks very strange. It looked like porcelain. And I don't know why I say
Yeah,
that.
it's like the pearl, or isn't it? It's that slightly glossy, slightly. It's got
Yeah,
a really weird texture,
yeah.
and it was slightly grey, but it's got a sheen.
It just looks strange to me.
It does.
When
Yeah,
when he bent over and looked, I thought, "Oh my God, who is this?" And
yeah,
I think I was frightened at the time when I just wanted it to go away
yeah.
because when I went upstairs and came back down, I sat there thinking, "Was that real? Did
I
I
I
see
know.
something?" The dog was going wild as well because
Really.
yeah, because when the dog knocked when they knocked at the door originally, I thought I'm going to put the dog out at way, so I put it in backyard. It was
Mhm.
barking like bloody hell. And when I brought it back in, it seemed a bit strange, and it calmed down a little bit. And then I thought, is this strange? Was that real out there? You
Yeah.
know,
What?
I was doubting myself then.
What? I want. I just thought it was funny because we had dodged a visit from Jehovah's Witness people.
I like that. An explanation.
Well, that's literally what I thought. And then it's sort of up. You feel a little bit sort of like, oh, I'm not sure about that for about a week afterwards. And then I happened to see my neighbour, and he was cutting the hedge on the edge of the driveway. And his head and his body were in exactly the same position as this man,
Oh,
right? The only difference was he was stood on the back of a pickup truck. So this man had to have been standing in midair to be at the point where he could make eye contact with me. And he was actually standing in the only position that you could look in and see me.
Yeah. I know you're on about your experiences. These events are very similar point in your life. Do you see a connection between any of them? Like a were a pattern? Could you see a pattern?
I'm
What that?
trying to I'm trying to see patterns. Um, So for a long time, I was not allowed to look into this at all. Anytime I looked for explanations or looked for other people who had experienced anything, especially with to do with UFOs or anything like that, I would get warned off, and it would, if I carried on, then there would be sort of like, okay, you haven't got, you haven't got the job, or you haven't got this. And if I carried on, it will get worse. So you've just had your purse stolen, or you've had this. And if I carried on, it got to the point where we almost lost our house, and we almost lost everything, because I tried to pursue it. The moment that I said, okay, fine, I will stop. I'm not going to look at this at all. The whole pressure went, and life went back to how it was before. And it was like that for years, till about 5, 6 years ago. Now I can binge watch anything to do with it. I can go and talk to whoever I like. There'll still be activity. Like I said to you a couple of days before, when we said we were going to do this, um, there was somebody standing behind me. So I'm in the house on my own, apart from the cat. Okay,
Yeah,
so it was exactly the same, and I was like, there's somebody behind me, and there was somebody. I was finding all these notes, looking up at all these notes, and there
yeah.
was somebody stood behind me, and it was a man. He had brown hair. He had, believe it or not, a knitted brown pullover
Oh
on,
my
like,
God, that's going
and
back age.
brown. Yeah, like, we've been mid-30s down here. You're not going to wear a jumper at the
No,
moment.
you're not. No.
You're not. And he was just behind me. Yesterday was I was working from home, and it sounded like there was a dog wandering around. We've got a cat. There sounded like there was a dog. You could hear it padding around. I've walked across the room before and tripped over something I could not see, and my knee made contact with whatever this was, and you couldn't see it, and then you could hear paws running away.
You know, when you talk about that, have you ever tried to investigate any of them scientifically or through conventional explanations?
Yeah, I try and look at every single explanation, and it's when you tick your way through that you go, okay, fine. So like I said, I was a nurse, and I was working out on, it was called the Twilight Service, as a student nurse, where you finished at 11:30,
Yeah.
or 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, on the district nursing rota. So you did all the putting people to bed, and we were covering this really big area, and I was closer to my parents' home than I was to the hospital. So I thought, "Do you know what, I'll go and crash there." And I was driving across the fens, so I was actually driving near Ely, and so Lakenheath and Mildenhall.
Right.
and I was the only car on the road, and I could see a cloud. It was summer. It was one of those where the moon's out, and you get those beautiful. It's almost like daylight,
Oh,
isn't it?
yeah.
So I was driving along, only car. There was this cloud, and it was lit up, and you could see like flames or something coming out of one end, and I thought, oh my gosh, is that a plane in trouble from Lakenheath, Mildenhall? You know. Is that what it is? And I was driving and was looking and driving. There's no sound. I've got the window wound down. No sound at all. There's the cloud was stationary, and it got to the point that I could see. You know, in those old Flash Gordon films, the
Oh,
1920s
yes.
or
Oh, yeah.
30s,
Well, you could
yeah,
see inside the
yeah,
cloud.
the wobbly spaceship, and it had
Yeah,
like
yeah,
sparks
yeah.
coming out.
Yeah, I can,
This
yeah.
cloud had sparks coming out of one end.
Oh, God.
And this cloud was also stationary, had sparks coming out one end, and I got to the point where I had to drive under the cloud to get home.
Right.
So I drove under the cloud, and then my parents were about half a mile from there. Got to my parents' house, turned round, the cloud was not there. I have looked at every single type of aircraft. It didn't move at all. There were no aircraft crashes. There was nothing going on that was publicised for Milton Hall. I looked at weather. I looked at weather phenomenon. I looked
Yeah.
at there is a particular type of thunder and lightning that produces like flashes in a
Static.
cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, like it was like a little rain, a little thing of like sparks coming out, like these.
Like when you welded, I suppose,
Yeah,
sparks
yeah,
coming out like that.
like that, and I have never been able to explain it. About 6 months ago, I heard an interview or something with Colonel Holt. Is it Hall or
Oh,
Holt?
Colonel Oates, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, from
Regulson.
Rendlesham.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he mentioned that a craft with sparks coming out of one side. I've never heard anyone else mention that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I've
The
never.
Colonel.
This was 1989. I've spent. I'll spend ages trying to find a different. What's going on? What is that? What I. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
strange, isn't it?
same with. The same with. So we watched a Black Panther hunting from one of our where we lived. We lived in Wiltshire,
Yeah,
and they just cut the crop, and there was the lines of straw,
yeah.
and it was hunting in these lines of straw, doing exactly what you would expect a big cat to do and how to hunt. And we watched it for half an hour, 40 minutes. Never thought to take a photo because your mind is going click, 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 click.
It
We had a
is.
cat.
It's true that.
We had a cat at that point who would go into that field. You could never see the cat until it was much, much, much closer to the house. We could see where that cat was that we were watching. We used to see deer and we used to see foxes at
Yeah.
the same position in the field. It wasn't as big as a deer, but it was bigger than a fox.
Right.
It was black and it had a big, big looping tail. So your mind goes click, 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 click. That's
It
not a
does.
domestic cat. That's not a dog. That's not and you work your way through it.
You talk about all this. How how has the experience ever affected you personally? Then.
Um, I've had bruises. I've had, I've had here on my collarbone, there were like three in a triangle, little like
Oh,
marks.
right. Yeah.
I've had three on my stomach. At the moment, so 2 days ago, we were just, having a normal evening, and I was like, oh my God, my leg is absolutely burning, right?
Yeah.
Went to go to bed, and we're just getting undressed, and my husband went, "Why have you got three fingers, bruises on your thigh? These
No.
finger mark." No, again, I'll send you the picture. Take a picture. Like just this piece of, they're thicker. They are thicker than my thumb, but it's like three, like this, on my leg.
Yeah. It's,
Things.
it's hard to explain, isn't it? When
It
you
is.
when you're telling this story, people are there, oh,
Yeah,
get away. What you talking about? But I know what happens.
yeah, yeah. And actually, I think also when you're in it, when you're in the middle of it, you don't, you don't, it becomes normal to
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Has it
Yeah,
ever
it's
made
like
you
it.
afraid to go out then? You know,
When it's
outside
dark,
to travel, sleep, or be alone?
we in some places I've been, yes, I have absolutely hated. Uh, so we went. I think I was started to tell you about this Owlman
Yeah,
area
yeah,
thing.
the old man, yeah.
Yeah, which I can't say was an Owlman because we don't know what it was. So this was about 19. I'm going on the ages of my daughters. So this was about 1994 and Easter. And we went down to Cornwall for a break. I cannot tell you where it was, apart from it was near Morn Smith, because my mother-in-law booked the cottage. So
Right.
I didn't know where it was. And it was an old mill. So there was an old mill building with a mill stream on one side. It was about quarter of a mile from the road, and then there was a circle of grass, and opposite the mill building there was a row of three cottages,
Yeah.
the Victorian ones, which were derelict. So, and they were in increasing sort of like stages of dereliction. So the one nearest the green area was had got the top and bottom floors, and then the third one was just three walls, no floor, no roof, open to the elements. And then there was a gate that went into woods.
Right.
I absolutely hated that place on site. And it had a 1970s lean-to kitchen. I spent my entire time in the kitchen because I did not want to be in the mill building. There was something really horrible in that mill building. There was something really horrible in the wood. There was something you every time you looked at the cottages, you expected somebody to be looking back at you. So we were there and we'd had lunch and whatever, and it was a nice afternoon. And we got a young daughter, so she was having a sleep. And I wandered out and wandered around and wandered down to have a look at these cottages, right?
Yeah.
So went to the had a look at the other two and went to the last one, which was the most derelict, and stepped into it. And that action of stepping into it was almost like stepping on a trap, because I stepped into it and the hum started, and it was a and I thought, oh, step back out, and then I stepped back in just to make sure that I hadn't. And I was trying to investigate, where is this hum? Because I thought, is that a wasp's nest or a bee's nest? If it is, I need to find out where it is so that I can then tell everybody, avoid that bit because there's a nest there. Could not
Yeah.
find it. This hum was getting more and more and more. intense. I laid on the ground to see if I could feel anything underneath. Was it coming from there? No.
No.
There was a telegraph pole. Went up to the telegraph pole. Could I see it coming from there? No. Went inside. I tried everything. Went inside and sort of said to my husband, "Can you come out? Just like have a help me." And so I went. I think I might have disturbed something. Right? He was, oh, really? What have you done? No.
Oh, God.
So I was like, and so I explained what had happened, and I can't work out where the hum's coming from. And he's like, oh, for God's sake, it will be a bee's nest or something like that.
Yeah.
And we got to this thing, and I said, look, it's a hum. We can't hear it. We can't. I can't work out where it's coming from. And this hum was still, and then it flew up out of the top of the derelict house. You could hear it go all the way round the green of the grass, and it was turning all the tops of the trees over as it flew round, and then back down into the house, and it concentrated down to a shoebox size,
Oh, God.
whatever, but you couldn't see anything. And we're both stood there like,
Oh, God. What is this?
and then I we can't work it out. And then I can't remember which one of us said it. He said, it's looking at me. And then I was like, yes, I know. And we backed away, and the humming carried on for over an hour.
Oh, my God. Over an hour.
Yeah, yeah. We went inside, kept on coming out. The hum's still there. We're not going. The hum's still there. The hum's still there. A couple of days later, we had to take the bin out. And we went together because we didn't want to be out together. And dragged them on our own and dragged the bin out to the main road. I can't tell you what it was. All we know is it went down to a shoebox size something that you could not see, and it was about 10 foot up in the air. And it was looking at us. We have never, ever, ever been able to explain that.
I bet you haven't.
No, don't know what it was.
Which experience is the most frightening then? Was that one of the frightening ones, or is
That
there?
was that was that was quite frightening. Um, I think there's been a couple of times where I've been driving and something has something has stroked the top of my head while I've been in the car on my own.
Oh, my God.
Haven't liked that. I didn't like that. Um, a couple of, I would say they're almost like we've been chased out of the woods by a like whether you call it an elemental or something like that. I haven't liked. Um,
There's a question here from Debbie.
okay.
What encounter has amazed you the most? Would you like it all to stop, or would you miss it?
I like the interactions with what you would call the Fae. Oh yeah, because so again, this was in Norfolk, and we went for a walk, and we were walking along a thing, and there was a tree in the middle of the path, and it was a fir tree, and
Yeah.
I ducked to go under this fir tree, and the fir tree branches tapped the top of my head, and my husband said, he went, oh, it's a fae. And so I looked up the length of this tree, and it was about 80 foot fir tree,
Oh,
and said,
God, that's
oh,
big.
hello. dropped my head and carried on walking. I did not break my stride at all. And we carried on walking. And the next day we went back and did the same walk because we enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
We got to the part in the path and the tree wasn't there. And so I stopped and I'm like, where's the tree? And it's like, what tree? There wasn't a tree. I said, that bit yesterday when you said, oh, it's a whatever. He went, no, that was the wind blowing me. He felt the pressure of a wind blowing him. I went under a tree and looked up at the length of the tree and walked
Yes.
back out under it.
And it wasn't there.
It wasn't there. And we have been back multiple times and we had the same argument in the same spot every single time. Where was the tree? I don't know. There wasn't a tree. Yes, there was a tree.
Oh my God.
So we had, yeah, so we had that. I didn't like going to Stanton Drew, Stone Circle.
No.
Um, and we just went for a day out, and I didn't realise it was midsummer, so it could have had something to do with it. But walking across the main circle, it was like a hurricane. I couldn't stand up. It was, one of those where the wind is blowing your clothes so that
Yeah.
they are
Yeah.
streaming out behind you. It was like that. My husband didn't feel that at all. At all.
Not at all.
And not at all. No. And we had a hitchhiker home from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, did not like that. Didn't like
I
that
bet
at
you
all.
didn't.
Do, would I miss it? Yes, I probably would. It's a bit like having perfect pitch or being able to see different colours or something like that. Um, I want to try and work out what's going on.
I bet you
And do
do.
I? Do I? No. Every single time I think I've got something worked out, it almost changes or it adds an extra dimension or it does something else. Which is
Is
why
it,
I think they are all linked. Everything is linked.
I'm sure they are. There are.
Yeah.
She just said, Janice just said, has Debbie visited Danes Dyke yet? God.
No! I'll have to come along. I'm also quite good at telling things to bog off. So, yeah, sometimes I've been woken up at night. The only time I have ever. So you hear people talking about reptilian things or stuff like
Yeah.
that. Again, that same holiday that I had the light flash on when we were in Norfolk, I woke up one night and there was a reptilian in the room, but we'd been really, really busy and I was really tired, so I just told it to F off and rolled over and went to
Oh,
sleep.
God.
And I looked again, it was still there, and I sort of said, I did tell you to F off. So, and that was it. Um, there was so yeah, I'd have to look up the dates, but it was this year, I think. I woke up in the middle of the night and went and had a wee and got back in bed, and then the light flipped on, like somebody had switched the bedroom light on,
Oh,
and
yeah.
standing in front of the door was me, okay? Or something that was pretending to
To
be
be
me.
you.
Yeah. My first reaction was number one, my hair doesn't look like that. Number two, I would never be seen dead in that clothing. Because it was, I'm sorry, honestly, I'd never wear that. I really wouldn't. And this has just gone straight out of my head and straight out of my mouth. This is the problem. I don't have a filter probably on these things. And it looked slightly confused. And then you could see this mask drop. And whatever it was trying to pretend to be me.
Yes,
You could
exactly.
see this like morphing. And then it disappeared and winked out. Yeah, I don't look like that. I'm sorry, I would not wear that outfit.
Has it been an experience you have never publicly discussed before?
Oh, tons. Absolutely tons of them, and quite a lot of them today. I don't think I've ever told anybody about that owl man territory thing.
No. After everything you've experienced, what do you believe is really going on?
I believe we are not in control. I think there's something much higher. I think definitely think there are multiple dimensions and you get bleed over from these different things. I think they're all around us and we don't ever see them normally. Um, what else would I think? Definitely we're not in control. And also, there's no such thing as an expert in this because we have no idea.
We haven't. We haven't. We think we do, but we haven't.
We have not. We have not at all.
No, and we're not alone for definitely.
No,
There's
we're not.
people
No.
around us all the time in
Yeah.
every house. Well, I know for a fact in this place here where I am,
Hmm.
there's lots of things happened in here and in the bedroom. When Paul bought the house originally, he had a knock at the door, and it was the exorcist man. I forgot his name now. Can't think of his name. And he said, "Can I come in?" He said, "We haven't been here long." He said, "Can I come in?" He said, "I want to go upstairs to the top bedroom." That's where I am now.
Yeah.
And he said, Paul came up, but he didn't realise, but one of the girls, the eldest girl, was sneaked up. And he said, "This bedroom, I won't have anybody sleep in this bedroom."
Really?
Yeah, he said it's he didn't say it was dangerous, but he wanted to exercise the house completely.
Hmm.
And but in that time, I think it was the eldest had come up. So Paul went, "Right, I want you out now." And he threw him out.
Hmm.
Walked him downstairs, said, "Get out. I don't want you." Tom Willis they called him. You can look him up on YouTube. Tom Willis. Google his name. And he said, "I want
Okay.
you out now. Don't bother coming back here again." And that's the bedroom where it all started when Paul first came over to the house when he bought it. He used to do fetch one of the girls, the eldest girl, with him for a bit of company, basically, and start stripping wallpaper down in the house. And I think he laid on a mattress in this room here and saw the spingles light up, and then he saw an alien, and oh my god! And it stems from there. Things
Yeah.
and things have
It's
happened.
it's there's some weird things happen that you just go, what the bloody hell is that?
And finally,
And you
Debbie,
just have,
after all these years, what is the one question you still desperately want to answer?
why? Why? Why and what? What are you? Why? Where? Why? How
Why
does
is
this
it
work?
happening to
How does
you?
it work? How does it work? How does it all work? I'm a really bad button presser. If there is a big button, if the world ends, it's because I found the big button that says do not press, because I want to press it and see what happens. So I want to know why. Why? What is this? What makes that? How do I see it and nobody else does? Or how does one person see something entirely different? You know,
Yeah.
how, or hear something different? You know,
Is it then what's well, I'm not going to say. Is it then what gets into our minds and
yeah. I
changes
mean,
things?
I don't know. I mean, this was the one thing that really that did scare me was I don't mind putting up with things or telling you things to f off. Fine. It's when it affects people around you. So we'd gone for a walk, and as a family, we'd gone for a walk, and we call our youngest daughter by her nickname, basically. And I'd literally called across the field her nickname. We're going to go back to the car now, and then we get lunch. And a voice behind her corrected and said, "No, her name. Her name is."
Oh,
right? And when I spoke to, and it was a low sort of guttural
Trying to change.
voice,
Hmm.
yeah. So it corrected me. So it knew not only what her nickname was, but what her real name was. And when I spoke to her afterwards, because she was walking towards a hedgerow at that point, and that's where the voice came from. And she said I could hear a kitten crying, and I was going to find the kitten.
Oh.
That I didn't like.
No, I wouldn't like that as well.
No, no, you can mess with me, don't mess with other people.
No, not with your family.
Yeah,
Janice should say, do you feel that they are toying with you?
sometimes, definitely, sometimes. So the one with the um when the quince tree was cut, it was 2 days, and I must have thought one day because they came back the next day, and I woke up with the feeling of one hand being absolutely clamped down, and then they were doing something with a vein. There was something to do with this vein, and there was a puncture mark afterwards. I didn't like that at all.
Oh, I bet you didn't. I don't think I'd like that as well.
No, no, didn't like
Interfering
that.
with your body.
Yeah, yeah, without your permission. No, no, don't do
Correct.
that. Don't do that. You'll get things like so I've like here. This is quite an old house, and we have a thing called a house, which we call the house elf. It looks like a black cat with with like a short tail, and we've got two tabbies that came as kittens, and they were running over my feet one day. So I was counting. This is when they were little tiny kittens, and I
Yeah.
went one, two, three. We had three tabby kittens for a while. I was absolutely fascinated by the kittens, and turned tabby for a while. And then sometimes you'll see it, and it's half tabby, half black. Because they just what do they do? Do they find us fascinating? I think they do sometimes.
I'm
They
sure they
find us
do.
interesting.
I'm sure they
Yeah.
do. And they
They
just want,
don't get our sense. They don't get our sense of humour. They don't get our, they don't. If you can laugh at them, that tends to put them off. Like that, I'm not wearing that. I would never wear that. And the man in black did not find it funny that I thought he was a Jehovah's Witness, which I still find funny.
they do find that bloody funny.
I was just like, they've missed us out.
We've,
But
uh,
yeah,
we've about come to the end of the show.
okay.
But thank you for coming on the show. It's been lovely.
You're welcome.
I know everybody hadn't managed to get in chat room tonight because we started early. I did tell him,
Yeah,
well,
sorry about that.
oh, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter to me. My guest on Friday night is Daryl Sims. Now, I don't know if everybody knows Daryl. They call him the Alien Hunter. He's lovely, he's Daryl. I've interviewed him before on my show. He goes around the world. People have got implants in their arms, wherever. He takes them usually to India, and there's a guy out there who takes these implants out. But he's a really nice guy, Daryl. I met him at a couple of conferences as well where he's been talking,
Hmm.
so it's been quite nice to meet him as well. So he's on this Friday. That's the 7th, um, at usual time at 7 p.m. in the UK, 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific, and 8 p.m. 7 p.m. in the UK. Yeah, so thank you very much, Debbie. It's been very nice having you on the show. And
You're welcome.
I will tell Paul I've been talking with you.
Yeah, say hello.
I will do. I will do. Yeah, definitely. If you ever come up this area for a weekend anytime, you could come to
Hmm.
James Dyke with us.
Oh, yeah, that would be
And
good, wouldn't it?
something might happen for you going there.
Hmm. Hmm.
One never
Yes.
knows.
It's keeping an open mind. That's it. Keep an open mind.
Yes. Well, thank you again. I'll just finish
You're
this off.
welcome.